You're listening to SaskScapes, a podcast featuring the stories of arts, culture, and heritage in Saskatchewan. The summer of 2015 will most certainly be one for Saskatchewan's history books. Forest fires ravaged our northern region. At its worst, over 220 fires raged, and currently there are still over 100 fires burning. Over 8,000 residents of the north were evacuated, and even though at the time of this episode approximately 1,000 residents are returning to their homes with the all-clear announcement, the majority are still living in makeshift shelters and hotels far from their homes. I'm Kevin Power. Join me as I visit one of these shelters, which has become affectionately known as Rez Cross. My first guest has got to be one of the most upbeat and positive young men you could imagine given his circumstances. My second guest is on the front lines providing the much-needed mental health support during this trying time. My final guest is a councillor with the Beardies and Okemasis First Nation, which is where this episode was recorded. None of this amazing support comes without dozens of volunteers working around the clock to ensure that these evacuees are made as comfortable as possible. But this kind of supportive atmosphere represents how daily life is at Beardy's. It's the Indian way, a giving of oneself that is to be admired and emulated.
My name is Clarence Morin, and I'm from Hall Lake, Saskatchewan.
And we're currently on Beardy's Reserve near Duck Lake. So how far is home from here for you?
Around here, it's probably about 280 kilometers away from home.
And how long ago were you evacuated from your home?
By now, we were 9 days evacuated.
How are you feeling 9 days into this?
I actually don't feel as homesick as I used to the first time I got evacuated, because the first time it wasn't like any of this, and everything here is different from the first time, and they said they'd make us feel at home, and basically we are at home. So
the first time meaning you've been evacuated for forest fires before?
Yeah, and the fire was the same distance as right now, which was 5 kilometers, but today they have it contained, and just recently I heard from my community it's clear out there and it's raining, so that's good.
Do you know the state of your home right now? Is everything secure?
Everything by now is safe. We're not at risk. It's just the smoke that makes a health risk for like elders and babies and other people who have like chronic issues.
And when you were evacuated, was that the main reason, again, why you were evacuated, was because of the smoke, or could you actually see the flames encroaching on your hometown?
We actually didn't see the flames because the fire was, first the fire was started on the opposite side of the community. There was about 6 man-made fires, but they put those out. But then there was one by the old Peterson store we have by the Hall Lake Junction. That's called the Stowers Fire. And that was about 5 kilometers away at first, and a couple of days it was approaching it approached by 3 kilometers, and that was a really big risk to us, but miraculously it was calmed down. We were able to put a fire guard around the community and sprinklers just in case it got to the homes, and basically right now the condition of our home is safe, I guess. It's very good.
How many in your family are here?
I say about over 10, I guess.
Oh, wow.
But some of them took off because they didn't feel like comfortable here. There was too much people.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I actually feel comfortable here. It's better than being anywhere else anyway. Because this is probably the best suggestion I could take for a evacuation center.
So what are you doing with yourself during the day? What are some of the highlights of being around here?
I guess the highlights are socializing with other people, like just getting to know them getting to know me, and basically with all these the highlights of some days were DJing on the radio and doing some major interviews, and I gotta say those were pretty good.
You've done some DJing on the local radio here?
Yeah, 103.3 SH or CH something, Little Bear FM.
Okay, and that's the reserve radio station?
Yeah, it reaches up to One Arrow, McDowell, and if it's a clear day, it'll reach to the city. And that's a far radius.
Right. So was that your first time doing DJing?
Yeah, and the first time I did it, I was actually kind of nervous, but then I got the hang of it, and I actually did it for like a few days, and then sometimes I couldn't do it because I had these interviews, and so far I've done interviews with CBC, CTV, Global National, News Talk Radio, CBC Radio, and 103.3 FM.
You've become a media star.
I guess you could say that.
Probably more people have heard from you and about you than you would have imagined in your life so far.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of people who would know my name, I guess, and I guess it's kind of nerve-wracking knowing how much people have heard my name on the news or seen me, and if I get noticed, and I don't know, it's just, I don't think of myself as like a famous person. I just know myself as I just think of myself as a well-known interviewed evacuee or something.
Does it feel like your privacy is being invaded at all when people are descending upon you and asking you to talk about who you are and what your life is like? Do you sometimes wish people would just kind of disappear and leave you alone, or do you like it?
Actually, I really do enjoy it. Like, if somebody comes up to me and asks a question, I'll answer it generally and as specific as I can. But I won't turn away any question that I'm asked, because basically I used to be like that before I came here, but I decided to put I'm kind of thought of as a Hall Lake spokesman, like for all of my community. So I was actually waiting for somebody to be that leader, but I was like, wait a minute, why don't I put that leadership in my own hands?
Yeah.
So basically all these interviews, I spoke for my community, I spoke for people here, and I told a nice story that's popular, I guess.
Which is that?
It's called The Letter in the Pants. That's what I titled it. Basically how it started is I was running out of clothes, and I was trying to find a clean set of clothes so I could take a shower. So I went to the donation section in the front there. And right at the ending, there's a men's section. And I was sorting through pants and, like shirts and stuff. And I found some good shirts, shorts, underwear. And then I found this set of pants that I liked. So I grabbed that. I went to the showers. I did my thing. And I was putting my items back in my pocket. And basically, I found this note in my pocket. Actually, got it with me. And it says, I know the first part. Greetings, my name is Darwin Gardapi. I wanted you all to know that we are worried about you all at the soccer center. I think this is meant for Saskatoon, but
right.
Yeah. But that's okay. Facebook is getting the word out about your plight. I have many resources in Saskatoon, not monetary, but knowledge and compassion, that I can share with you and your family. Contact me. I will go and visit you. I wish you all the Creator's blessings.
Wow.
And right as soon as I seen this note, like, I got choked up. I couldn't say anything, basically, when I was out in the front. So I showed everybody, and they were just like, call him, contact him.
Yeah.
And I reached out on social media, and I couldn't, he didn't see my message, but I guess one of the coordinators here, Serena, she made the phone call, and I guess he came down the same day she made that phone call. So we met up, we shook hands, and we actually hugged it out because of how much this meant to me.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we went to the store, we grabbed a couple drinks, pop, and we came back here, and after all that session, we didn't shut up. we just kept talking. We're just like really good friends, and we actually did a radio interview the same day. And like we told the story, he told his side of the story, which was he's been in this situation before, where he's had basically he's had nothing. So he was waiting for the chance to give back, and this was his chance. So he gave back. He donated clothes in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, here. And out of all the people who could get that pants, I got it. And basically the moral of that story is one gesture can make a person's day, month, or even year if they think about it.
No kidding.
And basically, what I want to say is, if you want to make an act of kindness, just go for it, because it could basically make somebody's day, week, month, year, whatever it is. You could make them happy for a long time, and that's how this has made me. It's just made me happy, and I've been happy since I got that pants. And basically, what I want to say about that is, when people make donations, they'll probably just throw an article of clothing in there and say, here, this is for anybody. But that person, he's a wonderful person, and he actually took the time to write a note for somebody. Yeah. And out of all the people I got that note, he actually wanted to meet the person who got that note, and I don't know, it's just unbelievable.
That's such a great story. Have you done a lot of writing at home? Is that something you're passionate about, or did this sort of ignite that spark to do some writing?
The thing that ignited my spark for like writing and media stuff was my previous program at Media Arts Production at Sask Polytech, Prince Albert campus.
Okay.
I actually took that, but I couldn't finish because I kept falling behind on my assignments because there's so much. I wasn't ready for college because I was only 18 at the time, and basically I didn't want to grow up and stuff, and I still have to face that to this day. Like, I'm still trying to face the fact that I have to grow up. And anyways, about that program, we got taught like script writing and photography, still imaging, and after that I started I wrote some stuff at home, like just like little stories and stuff. And I actually left that notepad at home. I would have like showed it, but I actually left it at home because of the day of the evacuation. I couldn't find most of my stuff, so I just brought as much as I can. And I've been into writing, and actually when I was 13 years old, I had like a microphone and a voice software, audio software, and basically I put some stuff together and then like posted on YouTube because I was bored. And that was my fun time when I was younger, and I actually still want to do that to this day.
You're not that old yet. You still got some time left.
Yeah, I got lots of time.
I have a feeling that this being evacuated has kind of forced you to grow up in many ways.
Yeah, it actually has, because before I got evacuated, like I was actually this kind of stay home and not talk to anybody kind of person. But ever since this happened, I've actually sprouted out of my antisocial shell. And I've been speaking to mostly everybody here, having good conversations, and basically just mingling, I guess. Just walking around here and doing what I can to keep myself busy.
What's life like for you at home on a normal day? What keeps you there?
Basically my Xbox.
Yes, but that could travel with you anywhere. You choose to stay there right now. How come?
I don't know. I guess that's like my comfort zone. And basically here, I haven't touched it at all. And I gotta say, I feel good about not being who I was at home. So basically, this actually changed me a bit.
I should think so. How much time did you have to evacuate?
Basically, we didn't have to rush because most of us were like sitting around. We were trying to find out news, and then we finally took off around 6 in the evening. I guess the way it started is we have a fire hall back at home, and whenever there's a warning, like any natural disaster or anything, there's a siren that triggers, and it triggered around 11 or 12. And basically, we're just like getting ready. Within the hour, we got all our stuff ready, but for 5 hours, we were like sitting around and trying to find out some news and stuff like that. And yeah, it wasn't exactly a rushed evacuation. We just took our time. So
okay. So, are you looking forward to going home, or is this kind of bittersweet that you'll have to leave this environment, which has sort of been a pretty cool experience for you?
I'm actually gonna be a little disappointed once I go home because the people here are like so nice. They're like I've said this a lot, but like we're not a bunch of just different communities and nations. We're actually just one family, and that's what I always want to pass on to people. Like all these forest fires, they've made us come together as one nation, as it should be.
Yeah.
Because before it never really was like this, like no teamwork, no nothing whatsoever. But now this brought us together as one team, one nation, one family.
So are you going to keep in touch with a lot of the people here after you all go home?
Yeah. I'm going to keep in touch with everybody and like see what updates, see what events are coming forward to this community so I could attend them.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking of planning like a community gathering, not only for Beardy's and Hall Lake, but every other community around us, so we could come together as one again. But this time with no natural disasters in the way, just us having fun and connecting as a nation, and as it should be, you know?
Yeah. I wish I had some more recording equipment that I could leave with you so you could hang out and do podcasts with everybody and start your own series.
Yeah, that actually does sound like as cheesy as it would sound to other people, that actually sounds like a dream come true.
It's not cheesy. I'm doing it. I can attest to the fact that it's a pretty cool experience to do because I get to talk to people like you. You're a fascinating person. You've made the most out of a situation that could be an absolute awful experience for somebody.
Yeah, it's basically been it's been stressful for some of us, but it hasn't been that stressful because the coordinators and the volunteers, they've planned events just for us to keep us like entertained and stuff. And I don't know, I actually haven't felt like a one little bit of stress here since I've been here.
I have a feeling you'll find your way back to communications and broadcasting somehow. You seem to have it in you.
Yeah, I've actually been I've actually never had this enthusiasm before, but now I have it because I guess this prepared me, I guess. And I actually do want to get back into communications and media and broadcasting if I was able to, because that really does sound like a dream job to me.
You'll do it. I have no doubt you will do it.
Even if it's at home, I'll still do it like by myself.
Yeah.
Like tell little stories or talk about other stuff. Even play music if I had to, and just to give that little break. Think about something else to say. I have like visitors, and I'll force them to guest star on there.
Yeah. Clarence, thank you so much for talking to me. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, this has been wonderful.
Okay, I'm Joyce Knight. I'm with the mental health team with the Beardy's Willow Cree Health.
Okay, so you live here on the reserve?
No, actually I travel in from Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every day.
So you're coming here every day since the evacuees arrived?
I try to. Actually, we have different shifts. We have schedules where we're providing the mental health support. So there's schedules. We take turns. Yeah.
And so what kind of help have you been finding that people mostly need while they're here in this kind of bizarre scenario?
I think a lot of it is providing the support mentally, emotionally, and also giving them that little bit of hope, of understanding their situation, the crisis that they're experiencing and enduring, because it's so tragic. You listen to their stories and it's so traumatic and very tragic for a lot of them, who have never left their communities.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of homesickness where they want to go back, they want to go home. And for a lot of them, it's been 2 weeks, so.
Have you talked to anyone who has actually lost their home in any of the fires?
Right now, no. It's kind of like fear of the unknown. Even for myself, it's a bit overwhelming, listening to their stories and actually saying, I don't even know if I have a home. I don't know what to expect when I return back to the community. So it's a lot of mixed emotions.
Do you have to cover that scenario then? Or, one doesn't want to dismiss that, right? And say, well, let's not think about that right now. So do you have to prepare them for the fact that that may be the case? And if you do, what do you say to somebody?
I think one of the things is getting the information. We've got a good communication department here. So they're kind of, it's an up-to-date, 2 or 3 times a day. They're communicating with people from their home communities, and we try to keep that open for them, to have that contact. And we take it as it is, whatever we hear or whatever the tragedy that we, or that they experience or encounter, we're here to support and we're here to help them out, so.
On the brighter side of things, I was just talking with Clarence. Have you encountered people who, for whom this experience has actually brought them out of their shell? That it's been quite a positive event for them?
I think it's been very I'm really surprised because a lot of them have actually asked for help, have actually come out and said, I need to talk to someone. Do you have time? Or I really need debriefing, or I really need to vent, and that's a good thing, a positive thing. Now, I'm not sure if it's because of the cultural, the language barrier, when you're speaking with someone that understands the language and the, First Nations therapist. I think that's a bonus for us. So I think they feel more comfortable in expressing their experiences in that and asking for help.
Right. There's a lot of little kids running around us while we talk. Do you find that the kids are perhaps more resilient than the adults are?
They are. They are very resilient. Yeah, they have an idea of what's happening, but I think they're the ones who give us the hope. They're playing, they're laughing, they're safe, they're fed, they're in a safe place, and that's a good thing, to be able to see that. Yeah.
How are you able to distance yourself when you leave here and go back to Saskatoon each time you have to sort of debrief yourself, yeah? How what's that process like for you?
Yeah. Well, we've got a good mental health team, so I know when I leave here, I'm just disheartened. Over the weekend, you're worrying. When I left here last week, there was only 50 people, and then this week now there's 200. So and with the 50 people, I got to know a lot of them, and a lot of them I see this week, and I worried about them, their well-being and how they're doing. Are they sleeping well?
Yeah.
And I could just see that the pain, the heartbreak, the homesickness they feel. I feel that, and that's hard. But I'm glad I'm blessed that I get to go home, and I'm able to sleep in my own bed, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful. So,
Some are going home now. Are you having to work with them as they transition, or are they moving out of here when they do get the notice that they get to go home? Is it fairly quick? Do you get a chance to say goodbye to them at all? We will. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're doing a little wellness group this afternoon. It's kind of like just to give them a chance to vent, and then their expectations and what they've heard from their home communities, and when they could go home. Is what they're phoning, they're contacting the people back home. So it'll be interesting to see how many get to go home. Right. I mean, you're happy for them, and it's. Do you have family living in any of the communities that have been evacuated?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But I do have a lot of friends whose families are up there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is, but I feel that because it's our people, you have that instant connection to have empathy and compassion for the people you work with and the people that you've come to know.
Right. Yeah. Is this the first time you've worked in an evacuee scenario?
Yes, it is. This is my first experience.
So do you have to go through a specific kind of, I don't want to say training, but do you have to, is there at least some kind of briefing session for you going into this? Is there a special skill set that you need here that you might not need elsewhere?
Yeah. I think you need, what we've been trained as is in the CISM, Critical Incident Stress Management. So you're aware of the diffusing and the briefing that needs to take place. So that has helped me a lot. So that has allowed me to put that into practice, and it's nice to see that it works. Being able to put into practice what you've learned.
Yes, I would expect that learning a process on paper is one thing, but then to finally be experiencing it. Yeah. Probably the best education in that process you could have.
Yeah, everything's theory, and putting into practice is something else, and to actually see how it works and how it rolls out. But yeah.
How long have you been working in the mental health?
I've just started here in Beardy's. I wanted to work in a First Nation community, so I've been here since March. But I've been in school. I've taken the master's program in Indigenous Studies, so an Indigenous social work program. So I've wanted to come back, because I know the language, I know the culture. I'm familiar with a lot of the cultures in Saskatchewan, so I think I have that advantage to be able to connect with the people and to be able to help them and reach out.
Well, they're very fortunate to have you. I can tell that you care a lot about this work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Good to meet you.
You too.
I'm with another Kevin now.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. And you are Kevin?
I'm Kevin SaskScapes, and I'm a councillor with the Beardy and Okemasis First Nation. I was elected in March of 2014 by our community, in our community's general election. So, yeah, it's been a humbling experience, and certainly one that's been filled with a lot of lessons, and certainly just a lot of interesting challenge.
Hey, it's Kevin. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Just a quick reminder that the SaskScapes podcast is available for free on your favorite podcast app, or you can stream it from your browser. Check out the show notes for the link.
On the SaskScapes homepage, you'll notice something new under the logo called SaskScapes Plus. You can't miss it. There's a big button saying support with a heart icon next to it. I'd love it if you could click on that button and help keep this podcast series going. When SaskScapes launched in May 2014, it was the first podcast in the province celebrating arts, culture, and heritage. In fact, you'd have been pretty hard-pressed to find any Saskatchewan podcasts. So I'd like to think that we paved the way. It's been because of your support that this podcast is now in its 9th year. Okay, that's it. Enjoy the rest of the episode. One currently that you would have not anticipated when you took this on is the evacuee situation that we've experienced. How has that changed the environment here for you?
Well, I wouldn't say it's changed the environment. Our community has always been a very welcoming community and very hospitable community. We've always tried to do and look out for one another and do, what's needed. So in terms of changing the environment, I wouldn't say it's changed. I would certainly say it's brought out a lot of the finer and better qualities in our community. Very compassionate, very welcoming, very generous. So we've always seen that in our community, but I think this is another opportunity where our people have that chance to highlight that and do some good for some people who are obviously experiencing tremendous stress and turbulence in their life. So yeah.
Right. Was it you that dubbed this? We're across the street now from the arena, but it's been dubbed Rez Cross.
Rez Cross.
Yes.
No, that didn't start with me. We were initially Nietzsche Cross, just friends helping friends. Uh-huh. But at the end, our emergency management coordinator received a text from somebody in Lloydminster. They were at the Chuck Reagan races or something. Onion Lake. And I texted her and said, hey, people are talking about what you guys are doing, and they're calling it Rez Cross. So it just stuck. It was a little bit better than Nietzsche Cross, and Rez Cross it just stuck. So we've been Rez Cross since then, and people have responded very, very favorably to it. So
how did that first initial point of contact happen where it was decided that you would house evacuees?
About 2 weeks ago today, actually, I met with our chief and our council, and I brought up the idea about potentially housing and hosting individuals or just doing something. And the chief and council gave me the go-ahead to begin the process and to connect with Red Cross and whatnot. We didn't end up receiving the type of support from the Red Cross that we had initially hoped for. Mm-hmm. But that's fine. So it was about then that it was when kind of Larange started being evacuated that a lot of talk in our community on Facebook and phone calls and whatnot, messages, text messages, everything. People started saying, we can do something. We have the capacity to do things. Mm-hmm. We began looking at our facilities and kind of just doing an initial assessment, and we were hoping that we could have utilized all of our facilities, but unfortunately all of our schools are undergoing major renovations right now during the summer or during the off season. So we looked at our arena and some of the other remaining facilities, and we determined that we could host up to 200 people. So we contacted Prince Albert Grand Council. We contacted FSIN, and I was in touch with Grand Chief Ron Michel from PAGC, as well as Chief Kimberly Jonathan from the FSIN, and we started talking, and then I ended up going to two meetings and two of their briefings and update meetings that PAGC hosts, and we just started talking about what we had available, and it just started ballooning from there and going from there. That day we launched, or the day before, we had launched Operation Pitch In, which was our community's effort to really kind of sustain this whole process. We collected so much donations, food, toiletries, bedding, mattresses, clothing, so much clothing, mountains of clothing.
No kidding. I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was, that all happened within a day. And then from there, we made the determination after meeting with PAGC and whatnot that we were going to be officially designated. The PAGC was going to designate us as an official evacuation center through them and not through the Red Cross. So that came about, and then things just kind of went viral, as you would say.
Yeah.
From then, I released a video just explaining kind of what our center was about and what we were doing, and then people really just took to it, and now we're the largest non-Red Cross center in Saskatchewan, and we're hosting it changes from day to day, of course, but anywhere between 160 and 180 people are at Rez Cross. So we're just glad that people have recognized the hospitality and the support that we provide, and we're just going to keep on doing it.
I was speaking with one of the evacuees who said that this environment was infinitely more welcoming than the last evacuation that he experienced. So I'm gathering that that's a testament to the general culture of your community.
I would think so. The Indian way. That's
Yes.
what we've typically referred to it as. We feel that we know how to best meet the needs of First Nations people, being First Nations, of course. There's just a certain touch that we have that makes people feel welcome, and I'm glad that we're able to provide that. Things like culturally appropriate food, right? I mean, one guy, when the first day that we opened not the center, but the first day that we opened the kitchen, when we got to about the 60 or 70 mark, we realized that we couldn't feed people from the facilities at the arena anymore. So we started transporting them at meal times to our rec center. Anyways, one of the new evacuees had just joined us. He saw the buses and whatnot leaving, and he said, they must be going to the center. But he showed up just in time for lunch. Not lunch, it was dinner time, sorry. And he came in, he ate, he introduced himself to us, and we had moose stew that evening, moose stew and bannock and whatnot. He came by and he
Came on the wrong night.
Yeah, you did. And he stopped by and he was like, "Are you Kevin?" And he introduced himself, and he said, "Yeah, I'm an evacuee. I'm going to be coming here. I'm from Hall Lake." And he said, "This is the first home-cooked actual meal I've had in a week and a half." He said, "I've been eating hot dogs and fries and nuggets and chicken and subs and pizza." And he said, "This was so amazing that I could have a home-cooked meal." And we're cooking for 70 people by that time. We're cooking for 70 or 80 people. So just the fact that he considered this meal, which was mass-produced, but still considered it home-cooked meal, that was really, really touching for us. And that really just reinforced that whole idea of, good people helping good people and providing it in a way that only we know how. And I think that's the Indian way. And that really reinforced to all of us that we're doing something good and that we'll continue to do it. And it motivated us a lot to try and do better. So, yeah.
I don't know if I'll keep this in the podcast or not, but just on a personal note, it was an obvious choice that I knew that I wanted to come here, and Crystal emailed me, and we were both on the same line of thinking. But I was also mindful of the fact that media has just been clamoring over all of the shelters. Has it been invasive to have them, or are you happy to have that coverage?
It hasn't been invasive. We've been very, very diligent in ensuring that the media did not treat this whole situation like a fishbowl. We wanted to make sure that our guests felt comfortable, they felt secure, and that they didn't have people, knocking on their door saying, "Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? Right? How do you feel?" There have been a few people who have stepped up to the plate and wanted to share their story, and we're grateful for that, because it does obviously add that personal touch. People want to know what it's like for people, and there have been some evacuees, some of our guests, who have stepped up and said, "Yes, I'll participate. I'll do this."
That'd be Clarence.
That would be Clarence, absolutely. And he's been great, and there have been others as well. But for the most part, the media haven't been too pushy or demanding. They've asked, and we've said yes or no to the specific requests that they've had. But on the whole, it's been good. The media has really been fascinated with our specific story, and we're glad that people can see us doing it on our own, right? We're glad that we can showcase and demonstrate that our people know how to do it best, and we're glad that we can just be that home away from home that these people want, need, and expect, right? They're familiar and comfortable with a certain level of support, and there they are. And the Red Cross is doing tremendous work. They're doing fantastic work. There were, of course, some initial hiccups just because of the logistics of evacuating, 7,000 or 8,000 people. That's a lot of effort. So there were some hiccups, and we just wanted to be there to support their efforts and hopefully relieve a little bit of stress that their volunteers and staff were experiencing, and their facilities, right? I mean, sending people all the way to Cold Lake, it's not an easy decision, but it was a decision that they had to make. And, the chief of Lac La Ronge Indian Band, Chief Tammy Cook-Searson, took that decision in consultation with many, many groups and many organizations, and we support that, right? That's her decision, and we support her decision to do that. But we just wanted to make sure that people felt a certain familiarity and comfort in coming to another First Nation, right? We know how to do it best, the Indian way, and I'm going to refer to that several times. But yeah,
the Indian way is a way of generosity, and I'm sure that that's the way you move through life. But you're human. At the end of the day, you've got to somehow turn off the intensity level of all of this that's happening. Is that hard for you?
Absolutely. Certainly the adrenaline has been going, and then our core volunteer team, our leadership team, has been going at it for a week and a half now. And, obviously everybody's getting, the adrenaline is slowing down. I'll say that. The adrenaline is slowing down, but the motivation and desire to continue doing good work is still there. It is what it is. Right. We're ensuring that our mental health team from our clinic is working with all of our volunteers and our leadership team, as well as all of our guests. So, that self-care, that self-preservation, that time that people need. I took all day Sunday off. And I was in Saskatoon for meetings on Monday morning. So I had a little bit of time. Some of our volunteers, one of our main emergency management coordinator, I think it was Friday evening left and was gone all day Saturday. So, she went to Lloydminster and went and did the horse races and chuck wagon thing. So I went to the beach. Others have I spoke with another volunteer, and they said they just stayed in bed and watched TV and just powered down. And that's good. That's really, really good. That's good for self-care. That's good for the preservation of some form of sanity, because it is a 24/7 operation, and we're going pretty hard. We're running on, there's all kinds of demands being pulled in every which direction. So it's good that our people are getting the attention that they need and taking the time off away from this that they need as well. So, yeah.
Will there be a bit of a bittersweet feeling or grieving process when everybody leaves? Everyone gets to go home?
We've made fantastic friends. We've made family members that we didn't know from, right across the northern part of this province. And that truly is going to be the sad part, is seeing our friends and our newfound family, seeing them leave. That's going to be certainly a sad moment for all of us. But as you said, it will be a bittersweet moment.
See, that's how demand you are.
Yeah, and
being pulled 8 million different ways.
But again, this is just an opportunity for us to do good for people, and we'd like to ensure that our support continues beyond this. And we'll organize fundraisers when they go home, because, some of them are going home to no home. Some of them are going home to smoke damage. All of their clothing is going to be ruined, their furniture, carpets are going to have to be cleaned. This is going to be a very challenging time for them going home. So the work doesn't end when they leave. Right. So is it going to be bittersweet? No, it's not going to be bittersweet. It's not going to be bittersweet. It's going to be a sad moment, but it's going to be also an opportunity for us to recommit to further helping these people, because they're going home to some more challenges, and we're just committed to ensuring that they have the support that they need to move on with their lives.
You're being pulled away. There's several other questions I want to ask you, but you're being pulled away.
I can come back if we
But,
want.
well, it was just one more. Okay. Do you feel changed by this experience personally?
That's a good question. Do I feel changed? I've learned things about people. I've learned things that I'm glad to have been. So I'm not. I should clarify this. My role has just been general overseer, right? I just make sure that things happen and pull resources in from different agencies. I'm a councillor with the First Nations, so administration. I consider myself a fairly competent organizer. I'm a good motivator and communicator and rallier of sorts. I like to rally people and motivate people, but there are people who are the real doers of this operation. Brenda Sequasis, who is our emergency management coordinator, Jerry Sutherland, who is incredible administrator and just phenomenal volunteer as well. Serena Gamble, Rosanna Sutherland, Shelley Sutherland, Carolee Gamble, all of these people who just donated so much of their time, given of themselves, given up their family lives, and really Nicole Gamble as well, another one I should put, Imelda Sequasis, so many people who have done so much good. I've seen them. I've learned from them. Have I changed? Doing good is something that's always been me. I've learned things about people. I've watched people, their capabilities. I've learned that there's so much good in our community and people want to genuinely do good things. Have I changed as a result of that? It's made me appreciate our community even more. It's made me recognize, again, that our community, the Beardy's and Okemasis First Nation, and our people are capable of incredible things when we come together. And that unity, we've had a lot of opportunities to be unified in the past, and we have. And I'm incredibly proud of those moments. This is another thing that makes me proud to be from Beardy's, is our compassion, our commitment to giving of oneself and each other and to each other. I haven't changed because this was always part of me. I've always given of myself. I believe in that sense of service. But I've learned things about people. I've learned that our community is pretty amazing.
I've learned that I think we could all learn something from living life the Indian way.
I would say that's probably a fairly accurate assessment. Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
No problem. Thanks. It's been great. And thank you for highlighting, what we're doing. And again, we pray for the people of the North, that they find some measure of comfort, both here and wherever they are, and that this whole situation will be resolved soon, and that, we'll all again come together and support each other in those times of needs, because there is going to be more need moving on, right? This is just the first part. There's the second piece that we have to look at, and that's ensuring a healthy and positive transition back into their way of life. And that's going to be another challenge. So we'll be there.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. The SaskScapes podcast is created and hosted by Kevin Power for Sask Culture. Funding to the cultural sector is provided through the Saskatchewan Lotteries Trust Fund for Sport, Culture and Recreation. For more information, visit iheartculture.ca and saskculture.ca. Music for SaskScapes is provided by Saskatchewan-born singer-songwriter Jeffrey Straker. There's no end to the stories to be told. So, until next time...